Hi, everybody. It's great to be back for my second ever Facebook Live. Today, I want to talk to you about one thing that you do need to hold on to and how to do that. The last video, I talked about letting go and how you do that. And in the coming weeks, I want to unpack that a little bit more. But I wanted to share something with you that my pastor talked about this Sunday, and it had such a deep impact on me. It was crazy. And I was able to actually implement it, which is always a good thing when you implement what your pastor talks about on a Sunday and you actually work it out and do it. And it was amazing and it was fun, and I want to share it with you. So a shout out to Pastor John Matthews of the Gate, Charlotte. Thank you for this profound, brilliant word, and I want to give him credit for that. But I want to share with you how I use the word to practically walk something out. So what he talked about was how we need to hang on to our joy card. How, joy is in us. If we are followers and believers in Jesus Christ, we have the Holy Spirit in us. And with that, that is the same power that raised Christ from the dead. That is incredibly powerful. In Galatians 5:22-23, it talks about the fruits of the Spirit, which is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control, all of those wonderful fruits of the Spirit. Joy is one of them. Now, obviously, those are deposited in us when we do have the Holy Spirit in us, and those fruits do need to grow and cultivate, but we have joy. And what my pastor talked about on Sunday was how to hold on to that joy card, that nobody can steal the joy that is in you, that you have. It really is a decision. So that was on December 31st. On January 1st, the next day, the first day of the new year, I am in the grocery store because I'm stupid and didn't plan ahead, and I'm tired, and I don't want to be at the grocery store the first day of the new year, but that's life. So I'm standing in line, and I notice on the scanner it's all wet, and the person who was the cashier takes my loaf of bread and drags it across the wet scanner. So I said to this young man, "Oh, the scanner's wet." And he looked down and said, "Yeah, it is," and proceeded to slide my bread through the wet slosh through the conveyor. So I was looking for paper towels, couldn't find them. I was like, all right, I'm just going to let it go. I'm sure the bread wiped it clean. So then I walked to the end and I said, "I will bag for you." And he rolled his eyes. "Really?" I said, "Is that a problem?" And he said, "You can do what you want." And I was like, wow, customer service at its best. And I was not at Walmart. I was at the expensive grocery store where we pay better, top dollar. So right then I'm like, this is really aggravating. So I said, "Are you having a bad day?" And he said, "I'm really tired." At which point I could feel the blood boiling in me, because I used to work in a supermarket. Super Duper, I'm glad you asked. I worked at Super Duper. I was a cashier and a bagger. So I said, I've done this job. I understand. I said, I'm tired too. I'm pretty sure most of the people here are tired, but at least you're getting paid. And he said, "Whatever." So this boy had some issues, but I just started laughing because all I could hear in my head was Pastor John saying, hold on to that joy card. Giving away your joy is a choice, and you need to grab onto it. So I let that go, and he started sliding the vegetables. I thought, you turn on the conveyor belt. No, he didn't turn on his conveyor belt. He just started rolling the veggies, and I grabbed them, and I was like, wow. When he rolled the glass jar of spaghetti sauce and it tumbled and hit the side and could have broken. I know my kids say I exaggerate. I promise you I'm not exaggerating. I looked at him and he said, "Oh, sorry." And my response was actually, because I was choosing to hold on to my joy card, my response was, and I'll just call him Charlie for the sake of, protecting the guilty. And if your name is Charlie, it wasn't you, okay? So I looked at him and I said, Charlie, work with me, babe. I have no idea where that came from. Work with me, babe? Like, hello? Very awkward moment. But I just started laughing, like really laughing very hard. So I made the decision as I was, and I didn't complain about him. He was having a bad day. I told him to have a good day. I told him to go home and get a nap. That's just a practical story of how I was fighting with my flesh and saying, you know what? I walked in here, I was tired, but it's a new year and I'm excited. And there is absolutely no way I'm going to let this tired teenager at a very expensive grocery store ruin my day. So that was one example. The next example was a few days later when my husband and I were having a conversation and we weren't seeing eye to eye. And he too was there when he was listening to the message on keeping your joy card. And what I was able to do in that moment is just say, because one of us got grumpier than the other initially. I'm not naming any names, but I said, I said to my husband, I am not taking your joy card. Stop trying to give it to me. You're trying to give me your joy card, and I'm just going to give it right back to you. And you know what? I'm not giving you my joy card either. And in doing that, I just, again, burst out laughing, and then he started laughing, and it really changed the atmosphere in our home. So you can make that decision to keep your joy, or you can make the decision to give it away. You know, in Nehemiah 8:10, it says, the joy of the Lord is your strength. And you really do feel that strength and power when you make the decision not to let someone steal your joy. So maybe you have some minor things that are trying to steal your joy. The key word is trying to. And if you just make that decision, like, I am going to hang on to my joy card, and look, I don't know if you can see it, but I made it. Let's see, there we go. There is your joy card. So do not give this away to anyone. So yes, things happen. Yes, life is crazy, and things are thrown at us, but make a decision. It's still the first week of the new year, and there's lots of resolutions out there, but just make the decision that you are going to hold on to that joy card, cultivate the fruits of the Spirit, understand that the joy of the Lord is your strength, and I can't wait to see the things that God does in you and through you as you make the choice to hang on to your joy card. Have a great night.